Overall, with the protected list being announced on Sunday, who are the names that might be called tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think if you're looking for a guy to put on the billboards going I-5 in Seattle, Everett, you're looking at Mark Giordano on being one of those boards pretty quick.
How about that?
And I'd be floored if Seattle didn't already have him flying in today and have his jersey ready for him, and he's walking on stage tomorrow.
Good morning, Rod Squad.
Hey, yes, and we're on the air. Welcome to the RP show, everybody. Big day. What day is it? Wednesday?
Yeah, I guess so.
July the 21st. We don't have the comments yet, boys. We had a wonderful morning meeting, and you were in and out of that.
Yeah.
The family of squirrels shared our nuts and went our separate ways.
Pretty much. That's how we roll.
We are live on the Game Plus TV network all across North America, all 10 provinces and 31 states. For some reason, my head... What is this, man? I'm like Murphy Brown going through secretaries and... You know what I mean? Where's the comments? I need to hear from people. Thank you.
They are.
Ta-da! Comments just showed up. And thank you for that, guys. Why are we even having an expansion draft party tonight?
I know.
The Seattle Kraken had to submit their picks for tonight's expansion draft by 10 a.m. Eastern, and it's all spilling out now. And thankfully, we've got all of hour one to, for the most part, to talk about what's going down today. And, well, the breaking news... I don't even know where to start. Carey Price not going to the Seattle Kraken, which if you'd been watching the show the last 2 days, I told you he wasn't. So think about it this way for a second. Not just the $10.5 million, not all of that, and the best goalie in the world. You know what cinched it for me when I knew that Carey Price wasn't going to Montreal or to Seattle?
What did?
When I thought, what happens if Seattle takes Carey Price and the Canadians lose their franchise face, rock star, for nothing. For nothing. Mark Bergevin, he wouldn't have done that. And when the fit hit the shan, Dominic Ducharme would have been sprayed too.
Yeah.
There was no way they were going to lose Carey Price. And I'm sorry to jump right into the deep end here, but why not? This is what's going on today. It's daytime sports talk. And by the way, Dustin Mikush and Matt Dunstone, they're coming in at the Block 3, right, Clark? Yeah, so anyway, I barely talked to Clark today because it was Rocco, it was Paul, a little bit with Nelson, yourself, and you're in a very fresh tracksuit today. Do you want to tell the viewers why you're doing it?
It's the Kraken suit. I don't have the logo embroidered on here yet, but it's the Kraken suit.
How about that?
How about that? Okay, so Randy Nichols watching in Cochrane, Alberta. He has written into the show. I'm checking my notifications here. He says, Mark Giordano is a Kraken, Rod. And Rich Sutter called it yesterday. He called it. He said they already got a jersey with his name on the back of it, Seattle. And the only reason that I'm pointing out that I'm right is that everybody else will point out when I'm wrong. So I got to point out when I'm right. So TSN with the notification here, Seattle Kraken have selected Calgary Flames captain Mark Giordano. And it's like... Can you guys not keep a secret? What the heck? The whole team's going to be unveiled here.
Yeah.
It was Pierre LeBrun, who I really like that guy from TSN, who said that, just so you know, Seattle's not taking Carey Price. He tweeted it first today. And I just think by 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, what's the point? And I was trying to remember what the heck you even call a party like we were trying to do. Like yesterday, Nelson and I were saying, what is it, a viewing party? It's been so long since we've done something like that.
Oh, I know.
And wasn't it you, Nelson, that said it's a watch party? Or somebody put it on our Instagram. I don't know.
Watch party.
It's a watch party.
It's a watch party.
So we're still having a watch party, and frankly, the only reason I'm going is because I want boneless, dry Greek ribs from the Four Seasons, because we're gonna know who the whole team is by then.
Well, what did they seal this envelope with? You know, you got somebody that's holding it up to the light, you know, in the post office. That, and doesn't this... You know, it feels a little bit like rewind the clock back to Justin Dunk when he made the appearance on Sportsnet on the CFL draft. Mm-hmm. It's all picked ahead of time. Like, he knows what's going. Like, he knew every single pick that was coming, and it feels like these insiders know the entire roster already.
Does the NHL even care? Does the NHL even care that this is all getting out? I wonder if they do. And James in Borden, Manitoba says, I don't think too many people are sad in Calgary. Well, let's hear from the Calgary people, okay? The Prairie Mobile text line is open, 306-840-8777. That's 840-8777. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaskTel mobility dealer. So it's Daytime Sports Talk. We're the only show on the continent that's talking sports right now live, particularly with these topics, the National Hockey League and everything else. And coming up in hour 2, our good friend Ian Furness from ESPN 710 Seattle. Talk show host out there, former voice of the Tri-City Americans and the Seattle Thunderbirds. Why didn't he get a look to be the voice of the Kraken? So those are our guests today, and let's hit the quick 6 show topics, please, Director. Thank you. We will get to your comments in a moment, but that's what's out of the barn. Giordano's a Kraken, Carey Price is not. So point 1, it's all in my quick 6, Moose.
Yeah.
Point 1 is Seattle expansion draft day. Woo-woo. Like, by noon Mountain, we're not even going to be talking about it anymore. We're going to be moved on. We're going to know who the team is. But again, come on out to the Four Seasons Sports Palace tonight. You're home for the Seattle Kraken fan club. Actually, Nelson, would you mind running out and getting me that Kraken jersey? I'm in a Seattle state of mind today. What else is there to say? Point 2, Adam Larson, the free agent, was to be a pending free agent, signing with the Kraken today, a 4x4 deal, 4 years at $4 million per year. Just running on here. It's okay. We're not fancy. Well, not quite like that, but
You're good.
Could have
came around the back.
You could have come around the back, but that's okay. He's new. I'm not going to put it on. Believe me, I'm not going to put it on because I'm not fanboy. But I'll put it here.
Oh, yeah.
Or around here so people can see it.
Yeah, that's not being visible at all.
Seattle Kraken Day. That's what it is. Let's get Kraken. And that's the other thing. Adam Larson, 4x4. So he's $4 million a year. Then you can get a draft Carey Price for $14 million for 2 guys. There was never any way, and by the way, shame on the insiders who said this was going to happen, because there's no way it was going to happen. Anything else on this before I move on to point 3?
It's a lot of money, and it makes it really difficult to ice a really strong, deep, competitive team. And there are a lot of pieces out there. And again, it's up to Ron Francis. How do you want to arrange those pieces to have the best chance of success? And Carey Price is great. There's no question he's the best available. There's no question he's the top goaltender in the world. But the drop-off to all the other guys available, there are other suitable goaltenders. They'll be okay.
It doesn't take me long for people to get me annoyed. Johnny Schmidt's watching. John, the Habs fan, says, actually in Montreal on TSN 690, they've been talking about it all morning. Listening comprehension, people. I said there's nobody else on national television live talking about these topics. What'd I say?
Nobody else on national television.
John,
live.
Pick it up. Come on, please. So I was saying to Darren, I don't mind saying this on our morning curb coffee session. And by the way, I really enjoy those. I hope you do as much as I do. We sit out on the curb in the sun and have coffee and talk, just the two of us. And I said, I'm tired. I'm jumping around on my points here. This was going to be point 5 on CFL notes. But I'm tired of telling people that I'm not the Rough Riders guy anymore. Like a guy wrote into our website yesterday and said, where's the list of rider cuts? I'm like, I don't know. They don't send them to me. I'm not going to run around and find them. You go find them. I'm not the guy to come to for Rough Riders information anymore. For 20 years I was. You're spoiled. But I'm not that guy anymore. And I said to Darren, I'm not going to stand here every day and say it because people aren't hearing it. They're going to have to understand it on their own.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not that I'm not following the CFL or the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but I'm not following them to the degree that I was. I'm not the guy to come to for that information anymore. You're going to have to be on your own and go find it. But I'm not. Why am I saying it again today? Because they're not listening. Okay?
And you keep getting asked.
I keep getting asked. That's the point. Thank you. Every single day for this information. I don't have it. I'll come back on that. Point 3, did you watch the Milwaukee Bucks and the Suns last night?
Oh, yeah.
I was out doing a little shopping and had a bite, came back, and that's what I love about the NBA. You can for sure just watch the last 5 minutes, and it's all you need. Like, I'm sorry, don't at me. Usually by a football game, it's over by the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I got in with 10 minutes to go, and I'm like, this is perfect. But there was very little drama at the end of the game, right? The Bucks had it in the bag.
It was sloppy.
Yes.
It was a really sloppy game. The Suns made way too many mistakes in the game. Rebounding was poor. A lot of missed opportunities. And at the end of the game, which you would have saw in the last 10 minutes, open looks, and they just weren't precise. They weren't making shots. And they had many, many, many opportunities to get back into that game because Milwaukee wasn't sharp either.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the Greek Freak was amazing. That was one of the best performances we've seen in a long time in a finals. I mean,
it was amazing.
It was a statement for him, a real coming out party. He's now the guy in the NBA, but it was just too many mistakes by Phoenix. They had chances.
Okay, that's enough on the NBA. Other than point 4, because the owner, one of the owners, Mark Lasry, was presented the trophy last night. It's a long-time NBA thing, and people were upset that the owner got the trophy. Every year in the NBA, they do, the owner of the team. And I'm like, if you don't think that's right, then you don't know anything about sports. You don't know anything about ownership whatsoever. We're not playing without owners. You may not like them. These guys and gals put their balls on the table in the last year and a half because of the pandemic to play and absorb all these losses. I have zero problems with letting the owners take the trophy. They're the ones that are assuming all the risk. Giannis Antetokounmpo gets to be paid how much? $28 million a year and play a game that he'd play for free? You can wait, dude. Because the owner's going to get the trophy because he's paying you. Giannis, you're rich. He's wealthy. There is a difference, and that's why I have no problem with owners being presented the trophies and the champion. Every league should do it. 95% of you in our Capital Automall Universal Collision Center say no, owners should not be presented trophies first. 95% of you have no idea how the world works. Are we straight?
Woo!
Are we straight?
We're straight. You got me.
Come on. You guys try being an owner for a day. Be sucking your thumb on the corner by 8 a.m. Point 5, CFL notes. I did an informal poll, and I'm not going to name the guys, okay? I don't want to out them. And you were on the phone with somebody earlier.
Yes.
So I said hey, you, guy, what do you think is the top story in the CFL right now? What's the top story in the CFL? He goes, I have no idea. And he's a season ticket holder in the CFL. Next guy, they all work here, by the way. He said Achilles injuries. And I'm like, sure. There was one on Monday. The Riders had, one 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
These are CFL fans. What's the stories in the CFL right now? I'd love to know. Yeah, I do host a show on another television channel about the Rough Riders. It's not like there's nothing going on. You got to dig deep to find the stories, but overall it's kind of sleepy. What's the number one story in the country right now? Is Carey Price going to go to the Seattle Kraken? That's what everybody's talking about all day.
Yeah.
And I'll just say this. In my time, this is what I would have done in my 20 years as a play-by-play voice in the CFL, especially over the last decade. I would have lobbed a Molotov cocktail over the border into Alberta. I would have said something about Bo Levi Mitchell. And he would have snapped and gone crazy, and all of a sudden, front page news. Or I would have just said, I would lob something over the other border at Winnipeg and just said something about Winnipeg. Poke fun at their Grey Cup drought or something. You know what I mean? And let's get it going. Nobody's doing that anymore. And they don't want anybody to do that anymore, by the way. That's why I was thinking in the shower this morning, I have literally nothing to do with the CFL anymore.
Yeah.
I have no official role whatsoever. And I think they're fine with it. I think I'm fine with it. But it's like, who's stirring it up? And you had some points.
Well, somebody needs to. You know, when I'm looking at CFL.ca and they're trying to provide some coverage, then there's some coverage there on the site. Not a lot, but Darrell Walker shows up in Edmonton. And that's big news, right? And, you know, we should be dissecting what that receiving core looks like, but we're not even getting that out of Edmonton, right? It's not hitting our timelines.
No.
Like, I want to know what's going on in Toronto with the Argos receiving core, because that's, how many times have I said that that's the most fascinating position battle that I'm interested in the preseason or the training camp here in the Canadian Football League, but I can't find that info. So it becomes really, really tough to follow the league for us to talk about it on a daily basis. And as a national show covering a little bit of the CFL, a lot of the NHL, you know, a little bit of the NFL, we rely on reporters in all of these communities to provide that info, and then we can analyze it and debate it and bring them on. But we're not getting enough of that coverage. It's tough.
Yeah. So from the viewers, Sinclair Russell, I believe he's in Ontario. He says, sucking your thumb in the corner at 8 a.m. That's awesome. From Mike Blackbird in Toronto, the story in the CFL is no story at all. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the story is coaches are evaluating players ahead of season openers first week of August. That's all, it would seem. Well, they use a slapshot line. Well, that's not much to go on, Reg. That's boring. Let's do a little Bobby the Brain. No, let's not. Let's move on and talk about other things. Sheldon Winans watching on Facebook. He says, sadly, the CFL is becoming like plain yogurt. This needs to change. Preaching to the choir, bruh. From Mike, the Argos fan in Toronto. Did Martavis make it? We don't know. Martavis Bryant, did he show up? Who's talking about it? I was working out this morning, going back and forth between Sportsnet Connected and SportsCenter, and there was nothing on the CFL, nothing that I saw.
It should be every day.
It should be every day.
He's still there. That's the news for the day.
My God, they're talking about Aaron Rodgers for 2 hours every day on ESPN. Every day. And it's not Aaron Rodgers' fault. It's not the Packers' fault. It's just, what is going on?
Darrell Walker showing up at Elks camp and being on the field should be a leading story in the Canadian Football League. Should be a leading story on TSN. Martavis Bryant, is he across the border? Is he not?
Right.
That should be one of your lead stories.
Habs for Life 41, watching in Vancouver currently, writes into the show and says, Rod, is there any info for the Lions requiring double vaccine to get into BC Place? I don't know. Ask them. See how this goes? Mm-hmm. Call them. We don't hear from these teams. We hear from the NHL teams, and we certainly hear from the WHL teams, which is the breaking news today, right?
That's right.
Okay. Let's take a timeout, and we'll be right back. It's just me and him for all of the next segment because we're just settling into it today. So take a sip of your coffee. And by the way, like I said, I didn't have the internet going here initially. Can you believe that? How did we ever survive? I once knew a kid, Darren, that lived 5 hours without Wi-Fi. 5 hours he went without Wi-Fi.
What?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
What a story.
I know.
How about that?
Like you should be the poster child for UNICEF or something. 5 hours without Wi-Fi. It was a car ride. Can you believe it? The warm-up's brought to you by Ecol Electric. Come check out our new Regina Data and Lighting Center. Ecol Electric. Let's get to work. We'll be right back on Game Plus TV, YouTube and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.